John George Sinnicki.
Okay. And when were you born?
February 20th, 1932.
And where were you born?
Bayonne, New Jersey.
Bayonne. Tell me a little bit about your family.
My family?
Yeah.
My parents?
Yeah. Your parents?
Well, my parents came from Poland, and they farmed up in Bayonne. My grandfather had a farm there. And now there's all the farms, there's no more farms there in Bayonne. It's all modernized and whatnot. And that's about it.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
Oh yeah, I'm married and have son and daughter. My grandchildren, two of my grandchildren just received $2,000 a year from the Koreans for scholarships, for the scholarship programs. But my grandson is at Boston College studying to be a doctor, and my granddaughter got one, and she's at the University of Maryland.
Wow.
So.
Great. So, and can you tell me about what got you to enlist in the Marine Corps?
Well, we were in high school. I was only 15, and we played ball, and the Marines were looking to recruit people in Bayonne. We joined the reserves in Bayonne at the Bayonne Naval Base. It was B Company, 21st Battalion, and we all signed up, my friends and I. At 15, we signed up. We lied, told them we were 21, and they still took us. And then I was discharged right before in 1950, but then I re-upped, signed up at the age of 18, and I went to Korea.
I see. And where was it? When was it? And where did you sign up?
At Bayonne, New Jersey. At the, we had a reserve outfit at the Bayonne Naval Base.
Do you remember what year it was?
Yeah, it was 1948. So 48, and I signed up for 2 years, so that I was discharged. Not discharged, but my re-enlistment was up. My enlistment was up, and then I re-enlisted again, and that was in 1950. And no, I graduated from high school in 49, and then went to work for 1 year at the Great American Insurance Company, and then we were activated.
I see. Do you remember the first time you heard about Korea and the Korean War?
Oh, first time. I think we were at we were training then in Bayonne, and we went to the, after training, we all stopped at the bar. That's when we heard the Truman saying, hey, the troops are going to be sent to Korea. That was the first time. So I worked for a company that still had the World War II rules in effect. So they paid my insurance, and they sent me a check every month for $25. So that was pretty good.
I see. Had you known about Korea at all before?
No, never heard the word Korea or anything like that. Never. Never knew anybody from Korea.
And then when did you finally arrive in Korea?
At Wonsan. We landed in Wonsan, and went on a few patrols there. We greeted by, I guess, Bob Hope. He was there before us, but we still went on patrols. And I remember YB got a machine gun nest out there. And then from there, I got assigned to division headquarters as a wireman. Never touched any wire, never any wireless and stuff like that. But I guess I could type. So that was the reason they sent me to as a wireman. And I recorded the names of the incoming casualties at division headquarters. And then I was assigned to, we had to move from Hungnam to Hagaru. We were moving division headquarters. So I was on the first batch. They sent us up in trucks to see if we would get through. And we did. We got through. And I got up in Hagaru, and we stayed there for 2, 3 days resting. But then we had to come back with the trucks. But I wanted to stay up in Hagaru because that ride was torturous, bad, awful ride, and dangerous. But we cut cards, and I lost. So I had to go back with the truck, and came back to my barracks, and the sergeant says, John, the rest of my group that was in the same room with me, nobody was there. And the sergeant says to me, John, you have to pack up all their effects that they left behind and send them to their families. And they were all wiped out. So they got called for the batch that went Colonel Drysdale, and they got wiped out in Hellfire Valley. That's when Drysdale had to push through. I guess you know that story. And so that was, and then from that they just had me stay at division headquarters and guard the place at night. So we went up in the hills and circled our base, and that was it. It was that was really amazing. Very, very cold, but it was something we'd be up on a hill, and you could see into the houses while the people were, North Koreans were sleeping there and whatnot. And here we were in the hills. It was snow on the ground. It was something to see. But the North Koreans, the North Koreans were really communist. Some of them, of course, we gave some of them weapons when we were up there, and they fought us, so we stopped doing that.
Have you had any close encounters with the local North Koreans?
Oh yeah, we had. Well, let's see. Yeah, in some cases we bought eggs from some of them, and some of them, a lot of them were friendly too. Not everybody was a communist, but they sort of took good care of us too a little bit. They weren't that bad. It was the Chinese that really were bad. But the North Koreans were. I guess they were satisfied that we were coming up there because they had a tough time too. And now they got a really tough time. Feel sorry for them.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Have you also met Korean soldiers?
North Korean soldiers?
Or South
Oh
Korea?
yeah. What amazed me is that we had the ones that gave us ammunition, supplies, and took care of the wounded and stuff like that. And that amazed me because here we were fighting and they were right with us fighting, you know what I mean? And these, I forget what we called them. We had a name for them. They were...
Katusa?
The what? Yeah. And then they amazed me because they stayed with us too. And they got, water, stuff like that. We give them our canteens and go fill them up. But mainly they would bring us supplies. Food, ammunition mainly.
How did you talk to them and communicate with them?
I guess we used to give them cigarettes and that sort of thing. They took a couple of cigarettes, and some of them were barbers. They, gave us haircuts. Of course, one cigarette for one haircut that day. It was great. And, we got along. Somehow. Well, we did have a interpreter with us, too. A South Korean interpreter with us. So through him, but we all communicated with them. After a while, they all knew us and stuff like that. They were helping us. doing a great job too, and I wish that we could give them more credit, because I don't think they got the credit they deserve, but I think that's improving now. Because we had a couple of dinners back home in Washington, D.C. I lived in Virginia, and we had them very close to us. So every time we had a dinner for the Marines, we also invited those, I forget what they call them.
The Katusas?
Yeah, Katusas, yeah. So they all came, they invited.
Wow. Do you remember by chance the Chinese soldiers?
Yeah.
Any close encounters with them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we had, took a lot of prisoners, and the South Koreans wanted to shoot the Chinese, but I wouldn't let them. I just said, but I guess they were just, would fake it to the Chinese. I say, no, don't do that. But eventually some of the Chinese prisoners, they had to shoot them. But not my company, another company had to shoot, because we were surrounded by them. And what do? Do you let them go? If you let them go, they'll say, hey, wait, well, there's just a few Marines up on that hill. So we had to watch ourselves. And they decided the lieutenant, I was just a sergeant, and the lieutenant says, no, we're going to draw straws and we're going to wipe them out. It was sad, you know what I mean? But that's war. I mean, you can't help it. If you let them go, they come back. There's so many of them. You can still, I remember them coming up the hills.
Like in they were wearing white coats, right?
White clothing, and very hungry, and a lot of them, when they would break through with some of our lines, they would stop and take shoes from the dead Marines and warm clothes of the dead Marines, because they needed the clothes. So rather than keep on fighting and wiping us out, they would stop, and which helped us out a lot. Otherwise, we would all have got wiped out.
I see. What company were you with?
The weapons company. 81 mortars, Forward Observer and radio and wire.
I see. What was your rank?
Sergeant.
So you were in the Chosen.
Right.
What other, would you say, military battles or the battles you were involved in?
Oh, after that, we were in February, where we went to Maison. We were in Maison. We went also on patrols there, because there were some North Korean soldiers still straggling around, so we had to go after them. But then after that, we jumped off for Taegu, and we started that offensive from Taegu on.
Have you had any really close calls?
Oh yeah, we had, from the artillery and the Chinese mortars. The Chinese artillery would, pound us. So we were, you dig your foxhole, you stay in there and you count the shells, and hopefully, but one time just a shell landed near me and just threw me up in the air. That was about the closest I got, so that was a little scary. But otherwise, we had with us, like the Forward Observers, we had the 81 mortars, the 60 mortars, not so much the 60 mortars, but we had the Army 105s, the Marine Corps 105s, the pilots who were directing the strikes on the mountains. The Corsair pilots, they were with us too, so the pilot would, direct the planes where to go and all. Then we had, when we were close to the East Coast, of course, we were on the East Coast, we had the USS Missouri and the battleship New Jersey with their FOs with us, so we were, we weren't too concerned, because we had a tremendous firepower. And the only thing is that getting the supplies, the ammunition, was, because because those Chinese kept coming and coming and coming. But you run out of ammunition after a while. So that was, but we survived those things.
If I asked you what was your most difficult memory from the Korean War, would you say it would be the time you were in the Chosin Reservoir?
The Chosin Reservoir, I wasn't there long enough. Of course, we just took the first, probe with our trucks from up there, and then we were moving the division headquarters, and then we were successful. So we came back with the trucks. That was it. It was the second group that went up that got wiped out completely in Hellfire Valley. That were with Colonel Drysdale and the British commandos, and they were, well, what it was they were Colonel Drysdale radioed the General Smith, whether he was the commanding general for us, whether we could, we were so, the fighting was so bad that he said, "No, we'll never make it. Do we really have to go?" And General Smith says, "Yes, you have to go." So he said, "Okay." They all went. All the tanks went together up front, and they had two rifle companies, and or one rifle company, and they just pushed forward. I mean, just full speed. You know what I mean? And not because we were on a road with all these roadblocks, but then they left the other troops behind, and they weren't real fighters. They were just wiremen and stuff like that. And those were the guys who were wiped out. Some of them were captured prisoners of the Chinese, and some of them made their way back to Coterie. So they escaped the Chinese, but a lot of them got killed over there. Especially Army guys. Oh, they suffered badly.
So, and when did you come back to the U.S.?
Actually, I stayed on the front lines for 14 months, so never, once or twice just had hot food, but slept outside for 14 months on the ground, through the snow and all. And I came back in 1951 of December. So November to November, then November we landed in Wonsan, and I came back the following year. But all that time is we were on the lines fighting.
Have you had any wounds from the...
No, just a couple of scratches and a wound. And they wanted to give me a Purple Heart. I said, no, I don't want any, because if you got a Purple Heart, they notified your parents. And I didn't want my parents. Oh, my parents would have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they did. So I said, no, I don't. I said, I want to get shot. I said, I don't want to get a Purple Heart for a couple of scratches, from being bounced up in the air. And he says, oh, no, the corporal, come over. And there were two of us. And I said, no, forget it. You're 18. You don't worry about medals. That was amazing.
Do you regret that?
Well, in a way, because you get when you go for a job in the United States, I'm at 100% now. This is disabled, and we get a nice pension. And up in New Jersey, if you're 100%, you don't pay any taxes. So that's helpful. So,
do you regret being in the Korean War at all?
No, because when I went back to Korea and see the difference, wow, we were, unbelievable. There was just one bridge over before Seoul. Now there's about 20 bridges, big airport, unbelievable.
When were you there?
I forget what year I went back. Yeah, I went back I don't know what year it was.
Well, that's great. I'm so glad you got to go.
Yeah, oh yeah, and see it. And they treated us well. I mean, the Korean people, they've done so much, I mean, they've done too much, I think, you know, but they're still doing it. And you know, when they paid for everything, we just had to pay our airline ticket. The hotel was free, the food was good, and every night was entertainment. They drove us all over the place, and it was great. But they're so appreciative because we have so many reunions, and they're always were there. And I was, when I had time, after I came back, I went and I joined the Foreign Service, the State Department Foreign Service. I took a test, and I was a diplomat for 45 years, so I served all over the world.
Wow. When did you become discharged from the military?
Let's see, it was maybe March of 53.
Oh, okay.
So it was 48 to 53.
I know that the Korean War ended like July 1953.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time, hearing about that?
Well, probably reading about it, you know what I mean? And was trying to, when you come back, you try to forget all those things, you know, keep that in mind, otherwise you wouldn't make it back. You wouldn't make it back because a lot of Marines cracked up, you know, and even in the fighting, you know, he tried to pull them back and they just kept fighting, and they were, you know, it affects you.
Then for you too, after you came back home, back to the US,
Right.
did you have like several years where you didn't talk about the Korean War? And
Oh yeah, I never discussed it. I know the Marines called me up. They wanted me to rejoin. You know what I mean? Because they had a reserve outfit there in Newark, New Jersey. And I says, no. I says, one war was enough for me. I said, I'd never do it again.
I see. Then when were you finally able to just talk about it and think about it?
Well, after a while, but only if you're at a convention or with other Marines, then you discuss it. You know, where were you? There, what happened there? You know, whatnot. That's it. But otherwise, we wouldn't discuss it. When I went to college, I tried to discuss it. One time in my English class, you know what I mean? They showed pictures of the Korean War, but they didn't go for that at all. You know what I mean? They didn't know what it was. So. I don't know, but my professor gave me a passing grade, so I didn't mind it.
I see. I see that you're wearing the shirt from the Portland reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were there.
Oh, yeah. That was a great reunion.
I heard there were a lot of people.
4,000
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
And they had brought over they had a very successful chapter there. They had a lot of bingo, and they paid for the British band to come over, and they paid for all the British veterans to come over because they had a chapter out there, and that was great. That was a very good reunion. First time I went out there too. Well, I was in San Diego for the first time too, with the first reunion there was. But that was a very good, probably one of the best reunions we had. But you know, we had a lot of Indians. They gave us the regular native Indians took care of us one night with the salmon that they prepared the salmon on back with, so that was nice. You know.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's great.
Have you been attending a lot of the Chosun Few reunions?
When I could, you know what I mean? Don't forget I was in the Foreign Service, so once I retired from there, you know, but there were a couple of times when if I, you know, the government sent me to Miami, and then there was a reunion in Florida, so I was able to go, even though I was working, I was able to attend the reunion, which was a good reunion in Miami, Florida.
Why do you attend all the reunions? Why do you think everyone always comes?
Well, because the VA doctors are there, and the VA doctors examined us, and we had claims in, and they approved the claims that way, and they informed us of the various benefits. So that was great. But it was all, you appreciate what you did after a while, but the best thing was going back there and seeing all that. That was amazing. Now I've got a granddaughter goes to the University of Syracuse, and they're talking about going to Korea for something. I forget what she says. So I might be going back with her to I guess there's something out there that they're doing in Korea. So.
The professor who is doing this is from Syracuse.
Oh.
I think maybe they know each other.
No, she's just a freshman.
What's her name?
Sinnicki. No, she's a Rogan.
Oh, she's the Rogan one.
She's a Rogan.
Okay. What's her first name?
First name is Kelly Rogan.
Kelly Rogan?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And she's on the dance. The reason she went to Syracuse, she tried out for the dance team, and they picked her. So that's why they went to. That's why she's at Syracuse.
I see.
But they're supposed to go, I think. I don't know, for something. Maybe 2 years from now or something like that. So she told me, I said, I'll go, because I can go again. I said, I'll go again. She said, okay, Grandpa.
Yeah. And that'll be your second time going, right?
That'll be my second time,
Okay.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
A long flight, though, but $14 it took me.
Right, right.
I guess it's still $14
I think so.
from New York.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's so great.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to share with us about the Korean War, what impact it had on you, or about the legacy of the Korean War veterans? Anything that you want us younger generations to remember and know?
Well, I think I ended up being chairman of a committee that I formed to build a big monument. So we built a big monument in Bayonne where we trained. And that was well attended. We had, opening ceremonies, and it's still in existence. So if you're ever in Bayonne, you can go see the Korean monument there.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
That's great.
And we lost, from our reserve outfit, we lost 8 who were killed, and they never, wounded. Well, killed. Many were wounded. And these 8, we have a memorial for the 8 that we dedicated the memorial to. Then we list all the names of the ones that were in Baker Company. And we have, every Veterans Day or something like that, a Marine Corps birthday. We have, we meet there, and we invite the Koreans and whatnot.
Mm.
I bet the Koreans pick up the tab a lot, which surprises me, you know what I mean?
Wow.
But they're so grateful, and you appreciate that, so grateful. Sometimes I think we ask for too much from them, but they don't seem to mind it for some reason. In fact, a lot of times when we have a reunion someplace, we'll go out and eat, and somebody, Korean who's sitting way over there, will pick up our tab and tell the waitress that he wants our tab, and that's amazing.
Just like a stranger over there.
Completely strangers, and saying, hey, we appreciate what you guys did. I said, wow. So they don't have to do that, but they still these are younger Marines, younger Koreans, but they still want to do that because they feel that, hey, you guys, if it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be any South Korea, as you would know. But it paid off.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel a little bit more of like a connection, attachment to Korea and Koreans?
Oh, sure, of course. No matter where we go, the Korean church takes us in. stuff like that. You know, if we're there for a week or so, they'll make sure they invite us down for dinner and they sponsor us and whatnot, which is appreciated, you know.
Yeah.
So you get to know it.
Wow. Well, me being Korean too, I love hearing that.
Yeah,
I love.
very good.
Yeah.
Of course, I was I was with the Department of State for so many years. I was stationed in Washington D.C. and I was responsible for the construction of buildings and things like that. So I worked with a Korean architect, and he was very close to the ambassador there, you know, and we really, every time I had even we had that Korean memorial in Washington D.C. That was amazing. Every time we had a celebration, like our Margaret's Urban, this Korean architect would make sure that he would tell the ambassador come down, make a speech, but present the biggest wreath you ever saw and things like that. So that was real nice.
Yeah. Ken, do you have any questions?
No.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm done with my questions, but I just love hearing these good stories, you know? Anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Well, let's see.
It could be back about the war again.
Yeah, okay. One other flag.
Yeah.
Forgot to tell you. No, I guess not. I guess.
Do you have you kept a lot of photos?
Oh yeah, not that many, but you know, it was hard to. I had a little camera and took those days. Took some pictures, sent the rolls back, but we had a cameraman, and he gave me all his pictures. So what I did with them is my wife went and bought the book, and she put all the pictures of Korea and everything in a what do they call it, in a book with the photos, and then we donated that to our Bayonne Public Library. So it's everything in there for posterity too. People can go in and see everything about Korea, about our battalion, all the fights we were in and whatnot.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? No, that's about it, I think.
Any of the veterans that are here at this reunion, do you remember them from Korea when you were there?
Oh yeah, some of them. Yeah, we have from Bayonne, from the reserve outfit there. From here, and then I was in Washington D.C. There was 5 or 6 from Washington D.C. here. There were others who probably a lot of them passed away. Was in World War II, and they were in Vietnam, in Korea, World War II, Korea, and then Vietnam. So they survived it, but it was great.
Do you want to tell me any of their names in case I meet them? I know that you know them.
Yeah, Sharkey, one is Sharkey, Eddie Sharkey. The other is Dwayne Throwbridge. The other one is Ed Huth. I think did you interview Ed Huth?
No, Dwayne Trowbridge I did yesterday.
Great. Oh, yeah.
Cool.
He's a good friend. And Ed Huth, I think he wants to get interviewed.
What's his last name?
Hoth.
Okay.
That's what he would, because he was with the rifle companies, and those rifle companies, although he never made it to, he was the first to bring the 1st Battalion Regiment, stayed in Coterie, so he never made it up to Hageroo, except the division, where I was with division headquarters, so we made it up there. I don't know who Dwayne Trowbridge went off that he was with, but and then there's a corpsman by the name of Dick Noble. Did you interview Dick Noble?
No.
No, he's a corpsman.
Anything you want to say to these brothers on camera? In case maybe they watch this later.
Yeah, well.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, appreciate it.